We're at 6:30, and I'd like to call this meeting of council to order and acknowledge that the city of Winkler is situated on Treaty 1 land, home of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that have been made on these territories and dedicate ourselves to a future based on respect for all peoples, moving forward to a harmonious and prosperous future together. Be it resolved that we adopt the agenda for this regular council meeting. Mover.
Andrew.
Second.
Ryan.
Any additions to that?
None for me.
Just like to also mention that we're extremely proud that Winkler Morton are hosting the Softball Canada U15 National Championships for both men's and women's. 21 ladies teams, 9 men's teams are in town, in excess of 500 athletes and support staff, so it's fantastic. There'll be lots of fun softball, to watch over the next several days, so please make an effort to head out. All in favor of adopting the agenda? Carried. Be it resolved that minutes of the regular council meeting of July 22nd, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Peter.
Second?
Michael.
Minutes are attached. Do you see anything there that is a concern or needs correcting? All in favor? And that is carried. A couple of pieces of correspondence there. You've got the STARS update for 24-25, sharing some news about mission records. Obviously some notes from our staff in terms of trying to make heads or tails of that and what that looks like. Interesting stats any way you look at it, and extremely thankful that that service exists.
Totally. Yeah, it's amazing to see how many trips they actually do, and especially the amount of trips that they do in this area. So
it is that. Moving then into finance, be it resolved that accounts payable in the amount of $2,739,140.30 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Andrew.
Second.
Don.
Again, as always, the check register is attached. You had an opportunity to take a look at it. Do you find anything there you would like answers to before we vote? All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Police Board minutes for the July 9th, 2025 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Peter.
Second.
Andrew.
Minutes are attached. Anything that you have questions on, or anything, Andrew, that we should be particularly aware of?
I don't believe so.
Looked like everything was fairly straightforward.
Yep.
I always like to see a committee that presents no budget concerns as part of the update. That's a very nice note to have, so thank you.
You bet.
All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Fire Department monthly report for July 2025 be received for information. Mover?
Michael.
Second.
Ryan.
Attached. You've had a chance to take a look at it. Calls are very, very much in line. A little bit up from last year, but July count was down slightly, so maybe bringing that a little bit more back in line.
Also see that we were up in Thompson and Leaf Rapids again doing some assistance, so it's wonderful to see that our fire department is able to get involved with those kinds of efforts.
It is very nice to see that we have local employers who allow some of that to happen, that we have members who are prepared to serve, and that we have a well-trained, well-equipped service that allows some of that to happen. That's a very good point, right? Not seeing further comments. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the minutes for the Transportation and Utilities Committee meeting of July 22nd, 2025 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew.
Second.
Peter.
attached. Questions, thoughts, comments? Very straightforward. All approved? Carried. Be it resolved that the Winkler Arts and Culture Quarterly Report for the April to June 2025 meeting be received for information. Mover.
Don.
Second.
Ryan?
Again, the minutes and the report are attached. You've had a chance to take a look at it.
Traffic sure has been up by the looks of the numbers.
Very much so.
And how about, hear any word from the Heritage Society? How are they coming along?
I have not heard, Jody, have you had an update?
I think most of the work has been done on the archive room,
Okay, good.
and then they're planning the next stage for the rest of the renovation.
Okay.
So. But yeah, a large part of the work has been done. I don't know if it's done yet.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody. Not seeing any further comments. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that the PV anti-racism discussion minutes for the July 31st, 2025 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Michael.
Second.
Peter.
Looks like a fairly good contingent of local people got together to discuss what they believe to be a concerning trend, and I think there may be some merit for us to maybe reach out to Steve Reynolds at Regional Connections just to feel if there's more than what we're hearing. Obviously, we had a very concerning incident, but it was one-off incident that is not who we are as a community generally. So it's good that the group is getting together to have discussions, but certainly I think some additional information would be good, and maybe if you could try to arrange something might be.
Yeah, I know Steve's away on holidays for a couple weeks, but yeah, I've reached out to him, and we have another meeting coming up in September. So definitely staying in touch with him. With regards to this, and as well as just in general strokes as well.
And I think there's some merit, obviously, for us to be involved in that conversation.
Yeah.
Some of the calls to action that ended up in there, certainly if they affect us, we should have an opportunity to be involved in that conversation.
Yeah, and I know you touched on it as a trend, and I wasn't able to be at this specific meeting, but on the heels of that, two stories that were brought to my attention that definitely aren't the light you want Winkler to be presented in. One of them just food industry, and this lady's talking about how she speaks 4 languages, has a degree, and just constantly talked down to because she's an immigrant and she's not, and it's, she says it's not everyone, but enough where it wears on a person.
Yeah.
And then another one I heard actually just before the festival, and that one concerned me more. That was at the pool where 2, junior high age boys teasing a, disabled, but an Asian boy with some challenges anyways. Well, the parents carried on conversing to the point that a lifeguard had to step in and tell the boys to smarten up. Like, just, again, not the stories we want to be,
And certainly not who we are as a community as a whole. I think that part is critical.
Yeah.
It's good to have that discussion and maybe to hear some more details of it. I'm immediately encouraged that our lifeguards, generally young people, stepped in and addressed it when it needed to be addressed. I think that part is a great step at that point. And there's no rush to having this meeting, but I do think it's important to have, because when we look through some of the calls to action, there are some things that they specifically would direct the city towards doing.
Right.
And I think we should be involved in that conversation before we ask other people to direct how we respond.
Yeah.
Additional thoughts? Okay, receiving those minutes as information. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. Mover?
Don?
Second.
Ryan?
All in favor? Carried. Jody, if you would help us with process for the hearings?
So we do have 2 public hearings today, and for those that are here for the public hearings, we will introduce them here, and then the mayor will open it up for comment, and anyone that wants to speak to the issues can come up to the microphone and give your name, and then you can speak to the matter. And we ask you to do that because we stream each of our meetings to YouTube, and we want to be sure that everyone is able to listen and participate in that way. Carry on.
Thank you, Jody. This then takes us to a combined public hearing for bylaw number 2349-25, variance number VA 2025-015, and VA 2025-016, and VA 2025-020 for 124 Albert Street.
Yes, so it's a combined public hearing. Maybe looks a little bit more complicated than it is, but it's good to be able to do it all together at once here. Just a note, though, we did at a previous meeting, I think in July, go through the subdivision portion on this development, so that part is done. And so I'll go through each of the applications here just so that everyone knows what we're dealing with. The first is a rezoning from CG commercial to R2 residential medium density. And so that is one of the issues that we're looking at here. Then there's a variance, and the variance, the first 2 variances are both from applicant Bluestem Development on behalf of owners HWH Holdings Limited. And addresses there are 124 Albert Street. And the first one is for proposed lot number 1, and the variance requested there is to reduce the required interior side yard from 5 feet to 3.74 feet, and to reduce the required front yard from 20 to 4.59 feet. And then the next variance, 2025-016, is to request a variation on the maximum density from 15 to 20 dwelling units per gross acre. And that again is in order to construct a multi-unit dwelling in the R2 zone. And then finally, we have a variation application 2025-020. Applicant is Kaylee Thiessen on behalf of owners HWH Holdings, also 124 Albert. And the variance requested here is to reduce required parking stalls from 20 to 10. And it's in order to accommodate an indoor participant recreation in the CG commercial general zone. We have not received any objections to any of the applications that we have before us here today. You have some supporting materials there, including some renderings, and then a pretty robust report to council, which maybe I'll just highlight a few things.
If you would, please.
Because of the size there. And again, I'll just highlight a few things. On page 2, you'll see the zoning. There would have been an opportunity to do some of these changes for density through a conditional use, but as we've done some of these in the past, we considered the rezoning to be a more transparent and fair way to address density. And so that's why we have the rezoning before us here. On page 3 of the report, it speaks to some of the density and the major variance that is required because of that density. And then it outlines some of the other, or all 3 of the other variation applications. Nothing really that I don't think I need to note further on that. If you go to page 5, and we'll, if Russ gets to speaking on this, we'll ask him to confirm, but I believe the report has been sent to him. And there's some responsibilities there when installing the water and sewer mains to of course, restore the street, curb, and boulevard to city standards. That is standard practice when we do these kind of things. And then on the bottom of page 5, we do address the parking and talk about the indoor participant recreation and the 20 stalls that are required. And if you keep going to the next page, you'll see that the applicant has done some work with neighbors and actually entered into some off-site parking agreements that allow them to have the additional spaces that they need and more, I would say. And that's something that they've done in advance of this public hearing to demonstrate that they've provided for the correct amount of parking. Street parking is also mentioned on page 7, and maybe it's fair to note there's been a fair bit of infill development in these areas, and so our staff have listed the number of stalls that will be available after this development. But we do want to note that street parking is looking like it'll be more competitive as infill development continues in these areas. Again, there's a contribution to sidewalks, which is also standard practice, and the same developer has, of course, done the same thing in other areas. Last thing I think I'll point out is on page 8, there's a fencing requirement, which could either be done on the part of the residential side here or from the commercial property. It's all the same ownership group, so one or the other would need to provide a 6-foot fence and commit to the ongoing maintenance for it.
Excellent. Thank you, Jody. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in support of this? I see some people trying to decide who's going to go first.
Sorry. As we argue about who gets to come up and talk first.
Everybody wants to talk.
I'm Allison Drieger, and I'm Bluestem Development.
Hi,
We've met before at other subdivision and variation hearings. So we put in the application for the subdivision. The variations are for the existing commercial building, which is an existing nonconformity, and then obviously the parking requirement, which we have Kaylee here. Russ and I are both here if you have any questions about the development or any of the variations.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, hi, my name is Kaylee Thiessen. I'm the owner of Aura Studio here in Winkler. I've been a part of the city's business landscape for just about 6 years now, and what we do is we offer a safe, effective, and a welcoming fitness opportunity for adults, and then 3 years ago we added in our children's dance program for kids ages 3 to 18. And we're continuing to fill what we feel is a void in the Winkler community for the performing arts. So that's kind of just like a brief background of Aura Studio. So yes, as you are aware, that I'm here today to request the approval for the reduction of the 20 to 10 parking stalls for this. So just to give you a little bit of background of what our current kind of situation is, we've been operating since September of 2022 out of 157 George Street, also known as the Incubator Mall in Winkler. We moved in at a time where that mall was occupied completely, and there was 3 mechanical shops at the time, so you can probably imagine what the parking situation was like with that. Shortly after we moved in, there was one that left, but then another fitness facility moved in at the same time. So we offered a lot of stuff at around the same time of the day. Each of the unit is designated about 4 parking stalls in the front of the building. And as the mall continued to grow with those businesses, so did the demand on the parking lot. There were many times where we have stuff running and the parking lot is full. Our clients were either forced to park on the street, park around the side of the building, the back of the building, and then they would have to walk around to get to us. So I share that to give you kind of some insight as to what my clients are already currently used to doing, how we took a bit of a challenging situation with the current parking lot and we made it work, and our clients are always really great and have no issues with stuff like that. So moving on to where I'm going to plan to move is the 124 Albert Street for the reduction of the parking stalls. So I believe that with the documents, with the agreements that you already have, the current plan for the parking lot, and a couple points that I have that shows that the reduction will work for us and allow us to continue to operate. So when we go into the new location, our class sizes are going to be about 15 is where we're going to cap it for our adult fitness. Clients usually stay for about an hour and then they go home. Our dance classes have a maximum of 12 to 15 kids depending on the age range for that. With that though, the parents come, drop off the kids, and then they leave. Then they come back when their class is done. So the parents are only there for a few minutes at a time. And so mainly our parking lot is used by the adults. Our busiest times are Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. We do have a few Saturday morning classes, and we typically don't operate on Sunday. So to help, as you have seen, I went and I approached already the Winkler Veterinarian Clinic and the Maranatha Church. They were super supportive, and it was really great to be able to speak with them and have these agreements. So with the veterinarian clinic, we have the approval to use the west side of their parking lot, which is about 7 parking stalls. It will also say in that agreement about their street parking, so there is that option. However, I'm going to focus on the actual parking lots for what we need. And so that's going to be primarily outside of their busy hours out of respect for their business, so Monday to Saturday after 5:30, and then they're closed on Sunday, so we have access at any time on Sunday. And then the Maranatha one, we requested and we have an agreement to use the north side of their parking lot, which is about 12 parking stalls. And that is an open agreement. It says they're on the agreement from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and then respecting the need for them for the Sunday. But the two agreements together from Monday to Sunday, we have well over actually 20 parking stalls with that, with our current one there. So that's my, that's what I have for you. So yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak for this development? Is there anybody here wishing to speak with a concern regarding this development? Not seeing anybody coming forward. Or, as Jody mentioned, we'll ask you to come to the microphone.
Yeah, my name's Josiah Newfield. I was just confused by the parking situation. So now, like, I don't know what I was looking at on those pictures. I took pictures of the signs, trying to figure out the parking situation. So the reduction of parking is only for the business side. The residential units that are being built will have adequate parking. Is that, like, there's residential building being put up there, and that has parking that's completely separate?
Maybe I'll ask Stephanie to address
Please.
that one.
Stephanie Jans, Planning and Permitting Manager. So the subdivision was conditionally approved on July 8th, but in that proposal there is the easterly portion of 124 Albert that will be subdivided into 5 lots. The proposal there is a 5-plex, so with shared walls, a side by side. It's actually on the wall there. You can see there's adequate space for at least one vehicle to park in a garage unit, and then immediately behind it at least another one per dwelling unit.
Yeah, I saw 4 signs. I saw an increase to 20 dwelling units and a reduction to 10 parking spots, and I was just like, that's
Yeah.
I
No.
don't really know much about that, but everything makes sense now, so thank you.
I appreciate you coming today to ask that question, because that's key. Whenever you see your community changing, you'd like to know what it is, and if you don't quite understand, this exact reason is why we have the hearings, so that you can come and ask the questions and make sure that you've got them.
Yes, thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Josiah, for coming.
And just to clarify too, for everyone, like the 20, that number comes from on a per acre basis. So we take the number of acres and then the number of units, and we do that calculation. And so that's what we use for calculating the gross density.
Thank you, Jody.
And I also appreciate the visuals that were provided here as well. It's good to see.
That certainly helps.
Helps visually, yeah.
Well, especially the proactive getting the parking agreements made ahead of time as well. I appreciate that part as well. So thank you.
Council, do we have any other questions before we close the hearing?
Nope.
So I just was looking, are we dealing just with parking now?
All of the above.
All of the above, okay.
Correct.
Just different approvals.
So if we put a sidewalk in, is there enough space on the driveway to park a vehicle? Is the question. If we, like, it doesn't say what side, if the sidewalk would be put in.
Our engineering services department have done a site visit. They believe there's more space and opportunity for a future walkway on the south side of Albert, not the north.
Okay.
It's doable today with the existing right-of-way, but it's tight.
Okay.
The front yard setback, I'd have to review. I believe 25 feet is being provided before the property line, in which case there would be adequate space for a vehicle.
'Cause I can't remember where I was walking the other night and they were parked on the sidewalk, which was kind of a pain to walk along the sidewalk, so anyways. That's,
That answers it for you?
I think so.
Okay. Additional thoughts?
Did I make another comment?
I would ask Josiah again that you come back, absolutely.
I live in a quadplex unit on Albert Street, and if you park nice and close to the garage door, you can fit 2 vehicles on the quadplex. So there's 4 quadplexes. We only have 1 car, the 2 of us, so our driveway is always empty, but multiple of my neighbors have the garage, 2 spots for cars, and they still park on the street. So
Oh, yeah.
we have a 5-plex, and you can only fit 1 car on there. It's guaranteed to, some of them are still going to require street parking. So it uses quite a bit of parking. But yeah, like I said, we have just 4 quadplex units, and there's space for 3 vehicles technically, and there's still street parking.
Yeah, there will be company at times, absolutely. Not seeing anything further. Be it resolved that the public hearing for variation application number VA 2025-015 and VA 2025-016, and I believe it should also say VA 2025-020. Is
That's
that
right.
correct?
That's right.
Be closed. Mover?
Ryan?
Second?
Andrew?
Andrew beat you just a little bit. Peter? Any final thoughts? All in favor? And the hearing is closed. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2349-25 be given second reading. Mover?
On.
Second.
Ryan?
Comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2349-25 be given third reading, subject to a development agreement with the terms to be in accordance with the city's report to council. Mover?
Michael.
Peter got the motion.
I keep finishing second.
Michael got the second. Final thoughts? All in favor? Carried.
Got to be a little quicker there, Peter.
Yeah. Be it resolved that council approve variance number 2025-015. Mover?
Waiting for me?
We were.
Peter.
Peter.
Yes. Second?
Ryan?
Comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approve variance number VA 2025-016.
Don.
Second.
Michael.
Comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that council approve variation number VA 2025-020. Mover?
Ryan?
Ryan, and who got the second?
Michael.
I'll take the second.
Michael got the second. Is there some confusion at that end?
I think he straightened it out.
I think there was a couple of typos,
Yeah, yeah.
which we'll address and we'll take care of.
Yep.
In the meantime, any final thoughts? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much.
Wish you much success.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would
Thank
say,
you.
in particularly, your success story is exactly what Winkler is about. You start in the incubator mall and you build it out as far as you can, and you grow as much as you can, even more so.
Yeah.
So even a step before that, and now to see you growing into yet a different facility, and then doing exactly what entrepreneurs typically do. You run into a wall, and how do we figure this out? You needed 10 parking spaces, you went and found 20. Well done.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good luck in your business.
Yeah. Thank you.
That then takes us to public hearing for bylaw number 2348-25. Jody.
Yes, this is a rezoning bylaw and public hearing for that, for 180 15th Street. And it's to go from R3 residential high-density zone to R1 residential low-density zone. No objections to this application have been received. And you'll note that this rezoning is to correct an administrative error. There was a rezoning, boy, it might have been around 2016 or thereabouts anyway. And what happened is it never made it properly into the zoning maps, and then when we updated our zoning bylaw, it got incorporated into that at the old designation. So very much an administrative thing at that time, which we are now seeking to correct.
Perfect. We've advertised this and don't see anybody in chambers. I suspect because it's lessening the density in the future. R3 to R1, we don't see that quite as often. We haven't heard anything anywhere else. Does council have any thoughts before we close the hearing?
Like, R3 does have allowances for single unit dwellings, doesn't it?
This was at the request of the owner.
Oh, okay, okay. Fair enough.
We
Okay.
should, because we're short of housing, we should maybe refuse it.
Just kidding.
On that note, be it resolved that public hearing for bylaw number 2348-25 be closed. Mover.
Peter.
Second.
Andrew?
Final thoughts? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2348-25 be given second reading. Mover.
Don.
Second.
Ryan.
Comments? All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that bylaw number 2348-25 be given third reading. Mover.
Michael?
Second.
Peter.
Last chance. All in favor? Carried. Be it resolved that public hearings be adjourned and regular council meeting reconvene. Mover.
Michael?
Second.
Ryan.
All in favor? That is carried. That takes us to the end of our agenda. Wondering if there's any questions from media or public relevant to this meeting of council. We see nobody in chambers, so I suspect not. Be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover.
Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Do we have a second?
Sure. Ryan.
Ryan, thank you very much. All in favor? We're carried.